All right, well, me and old Rosie here, Rosie and I, however you want to say it, moving in on the next one. And I'll tell you about this little tract. I guess I'll just go ahead and tell you about it now. It's only an acre, and we're not clearing the whole acre. This is in a little rural subdivision, so this guy's got about just right out of acre tract, maybe a hair over an acre, and he just wants it kind of underbrush, kind of cleaned out like how we did Ryan's place, you know, leaving the bigger trees where we can, and just opened up enough space that he can put some sort of little cabin or something in here just to have kind of a weekend getaway. But I want to show you why I'm so excited about this job. I just got Rosie started warming up. But this little neighborhood is called Cedar Valley. And this is why. Great big eastern red cedar everywhere. And I've been looking for big cedars, and I don't hardly ever find it around my place. And now we got some. So yeah, anyway, like I said, I think I pretty well covered it all in the intro. The whole place it's thick right now. You know, I had to knock a tree down just to get Rosie in off the road. There's no culvert. There's this ditch. You know, hey, you like that truck? Not mine. My pickup is still down for repairs, so thankfully my heavy haul guy, Jeff, he's insanely generous, and he let me borrow his pickup because he barely ever uses it. So I got me a loaner truck. But anyway, so yeah, we had to just kind of unload across the ditch here, and had to knock one tree down, just this little oak. It's okay. Had to knock it down just to even get the machine onto the property. Oh, check out the other cool thing. Look, rocks. I don't have rock at my place at all. Like, I barely even have rock on my driveway because I track mud all over it. There's big sandstone outcrops here right at surface. Which is, you know, not uncommon for this area, but I'm actually only like 12 miles from my house. But at my house, man, you could drill for hundreds of feet down. You will not find rock. It's not there. But it's here. So I get to work on a little bit of rock. I'm not worried about mud. I'm not worried about getting stuck in the mud. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, you can kind of see over top of Rosie here, there is kind of a natural opening already where it's got a bunch of little scrub inside of it. So we're going to get some oil put in the machine, and then we'll jump in here amidst this scrub and just tear it out and kind of get an opening, get clearing a little bit on the opening, and then we'll just go from there on how big we want to make it, and then we'll see about how many trees we want to take out. All right, well, I'll give you guys a little update here now that we've moved in. I've been scratching on it for, I don't know, maybe an hour, and I'm starting to find, you know, that you can actually see in here now, and that's what I told the guy when we first walked, is I said, man, I've really got to just get in there and kind of open it up so that we can start to see the lay of the land, because you'll see we're on a hill here, and just off here to the side, the hill actually drops off pretty steep, drops into a little ditch. I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, I've just been coming in, you know, grubbing out the little stuff for now. What you see over here that I've set aside as logs, this was all stuff that was already dead standing. I'm gonna take the chainsaw and just make a cut through it and see if there's any good heartwood left. If there is, okay, I'll take it. If there's not, no big deal. This, I thought at first was a cedar when I saw it laid over the other day, but it's actually a white oak of some sort. A white oak or a post oak. Looks like a white oak, actually. So hopefully it'll still have some good meat in it. I have no idea how long it's been dead. And there's another little cedar there that was already dead. I just knocked it down. But I'm trying to wait to take down any of the live cedars until I kind of get a good idea of exactly which ones should come down. But yeah, I'll show you, running off over into here. Maybe you can see it looking down here into the woods. You can see he's got a draw ditch running right down through there, and that goes, basically I'm going right along the edge of it here. I'm just kind of pushing brush against the edge of it for right now to kind of establish a clearing boundary towards the ditch. Now the other thing is, walking back in here, I didn't notice this when we walked it the other day, but that ditch actually has a fork in it. So there's also a draw that goes up here. So, of his acre of property, a lot of it is down there in the hole. I've cleared basically into this corner, I think about as far as I want to go, because I want to leave him a couple of these little hardwoods, little red oaks in here. And I want to try to leave those if I can. I want to leave some material, you know, along this edge of the hillside, really, to try to prevent erosion. And, you know, he's not going to put a structure there anyway, so leave him what I can of the bigger stuff, and I'll grub out, I'll reach in here and grub out, you know, this littler stuff in between it. But I want to try to leave as much of the bigger stuff as I can of the hardwoods. You know, he said he doesn't really care on the cedars. Like, there's a pretty good size little red oak right in there that I'll probably leave, because as we're walking back in here again, I mean, the ditch kind of starts right here, you know, it starts falling off in the ditch. So this is sitting right on the edge of the ditch. I'd just soon leave that. I wish I knew if it was alive or not. Oh, it's actually a sweet gum. That's not a red oak, that's a sweet gum. Maybe I will tear it out then, but no. I mean, I'll leave it. Like I said, I'm just trying to get all the little stuff out of the way for right now. Open it up. I am learning. This is the first time I've cleared cedar. It's brittle. So this one was actually alive. The cedar's very, very brittle. So I tried digging around the roots and pushing it over, and it just snapped as soon as I did. So probably what I'll do in order to preserve these, because, you know, now it's gonna have a split up the middle wherever it snapped and cracked. So probably what I'll do on the cedars is I'll you know, push on them, but I'll cut them off with a chainsaw, and then I'll dig the stump out. This soil's not very deep, and it's very, very rocky, so it actually digs out. It's not all heavy and blocky like clay. It digs out pretty easy, actually. The rock kind of breaks up. There's very little big solid rock, if that makes sense. It looks like it right out there where you first walk in. There's a big old outcrop. Here's another, looks like white oak to me, and I'm guessing it's probably dead, actually. I mean, I know it's dormant, but it's got dead limbs up top, and it's got a huge, oh, it's got a big burl on it, but it's got a huge split in it too, like it's lightning struck or something. So that'll come down, and it needs to come down anyway, because his flat-ish property goes back up that way and then across here. That's all he's really got that's good, usable, relatively flat ground. So that's what we're trying to get cleared off now. And then once we get enough space opened up that it's clean and clear, and we've kind of established the clearing, then I'll start taking down trees. I'll start to get all this little brush picked up and put into a pile in the middle of the clearing, and we'll see about burning it. I think he showed me there's a water meter box back here on the back of the property that I guess is his connection to the municipal water out here in this little development. But it's just a box in the ground, you know. So I'll have to walk back there and see if there's a spigot we can put a hose on it. I don't want to start a fire out here, especially in a rural development like this, if we don't have some water control. But if there's water back there, then we'll see about burning for him too. But that's not really part of the original deal, so we don't have to. I told him, you know, the price I quoted him was just to have it burn ready. But yeah, if we can burn it too, that's cool. And maybe we'll barter on a little bit more of the service cost on the timber to do that. Anyway, there's your update. I'm gonna keep working, and maybe the next update we'll have it all cleared. All right, well, the save pile is growing. I got those cedars all cleaned up and cut out that I was showing you before. They're thrown in there somewhere. And this is all gonna have to get moved again. Like I said, I'm just trying to find space to sort. So I got good and I got bad. Now, those of you that think you're a serious woodworker, you're gonna love this. Look at that freaking burl. This is on a white oak, and you can see the thing was dead. Just based on the, well, yeah, it was dead, whatever. I say you can see it was dead. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It was dead. There was somewhere on the other side you could see where the, oh yeah, look at that. Right there, that's where you can see. And yeah, looking inside this thing, I was just about to grab the chainsaw and try to cut a log out of it. I guess I still will, but right as of here, it's it's completely hollow. See if you guys can see down inside there. That is amazing that it's that hollow, and yet I was able to push this tree over. I didn't have to dig it out at all. I figured, you know, I mean, I guess the stump's kind of, you know, the stump is starting to rot, so I guess that makes sense, but I didn't have to dig it at all. I figured when it's that rotten, you start pushing on it, it would just snap, but it actually came down in one easy piece. So maybe there's still some solid wood right in here where I was pushing on it. I'm gonna I'm gonna try to get these roots cut off this side, I guess, right below the burl, and then just see what I can get out of a log above the burl. I'll take the log and the burl home together and then see how the heck I'm gonna get that thing off there. But you know, we just cut a burl up for a guy the other day, and it does have some gorgeous wood inside of it, so it'd be cool to take that and just do, even if all I do is just ball blanks or pin blanks, you know, just get something out of it. So anyway, let's whack it off of there and see what we find. Well, we got the stump cut off just below the burl, which is good, and it's solid there. It's hollow. The hollow goes right about to the edge of the bucket. I was going to cut that other couple feet off, but then it would make this log kind of short and awkward to handle, so I'm just going to leave that how it is. I'll take that on home, cut it off at home once I need to, but it looks like it, like I said, it looks like it solids up right about there, and it gets a little more solid right about there. So interesting that it only rotted out in one spot. Normally on an oak like this, once it starts to go, you know, it's the whole, it starts at the base and goes just up. Kind of weird to have it be solid at the base but hollow in the middle. Anyway, that's a shame. I won't recover much of a log out of it, but I do get that cool burl, so done right, that should be worth more than the log anyway. But I'll get the rest of this picked up. That'll all go on the burn pile, and then that's the biggest stuff for now. So then we'll keep working into here and clearing out more of the small stuff. All right, end of day one and about 6 hours of work. My phone battery's almost dead, so I gotta hurry this. But anyway, see where we're clearing, where the road's coming in now. Got a whole stack of keep logs. We've cleaned out this side here up to where he wants to be on the line. We've cleaned out all over there to the edge of the ditch and over here to the edge of the ditch. And the back, the top end of the ditch actually kind of rounds out into a bowl. So we're gonna go around the top end here and just clear out a little bit more further in the back. I'm actually hoping maybe he can park his little camper back in there. It'll be close to his back property line, but it'll be a lot further off the road, so I think that'll be better. Anyway, started taking down some of the big cedars. Super exciting. The client came out and talked to me, and we went through, you know, put our hands on every one and put a flag on every one that we were going to take. So I wanted to do that with him just to make sure that he agreed, and it's good that I did, because there's a few that he wanted to keep. We're keeping this one here. He wants to keep. You know, it's just a nice sized cedar, but oh yeah, that sucker's almost 20 inches across the base, and it cut it 20.5 feet long. So it's a good long log, and that was one of two in that tree. We do have a couple of hickories that we marked out. So there's a little hickory there, and there's one more. Where's the third hickory? I know there was three. 1, 2. Is it further back in? They were all three right over in here. I know there's at least 3. 1, 2. I didn't cut it down yet. We're not taking that hickory because it's just got a nasty crook up top, and it's mostly dead anyway, I think. Anyway, I thought there were 3 hickories. There's at least 2. There's 2 hickories there. And yeah, I didn't, gosh darn. Whatever. So you can see where we're starting to come around the top end here, and we'll work our way back in along this little bench back in here. There's a couple more big cedars back in there that we're going to take down, and there's 2 more big cedars down in the bottom that you can't even see from here. I won't be able to get the excavator down into them, and so we'll just have to, I'll have to go down there with the saw, cut them down, and then grab a chain and pull them out. These hickories are going to drive me freaking nuts. I swear there was 3. Now I can't find them. I know I didn't take one down yet. I've only taken down the cedars. 1, 2. Maybe I found 3, but then decided not to take the third one. Well, whatever. There's at least 2. This one here is by itself, so we'll dig that stump. That one is twinned with a cedar, so we won't dig the stump on that one. Leaving this big white oak, it's hard to tell. It kind of looks like it might be dead, but I think it's still got some life in it. So again, I want to leave in as much as I can as far as healthy looking hardwoods. Darn, I thought I had 3, whatever. I had 3 hickories in my mind. Oh well. Maybe it's just because of this hickory and then we decided not to take it. I don't know. Maybe I flagged one back in there that I can't remember. But actually a couple of these cedars, so you know, I think I mentioned at the start of the video, maybe I didn't, but I'm actually, you know, paying him for these cedars by discounting some off the bill, and we negotiated a price on that. But what we did, to my advantage, which was very nice of him, was there were several that were big, but they were dead. They were already dead. And so he said, well, if they're already dead, let's just go ahead and take them down, and those are free. But if they're alive, then they're for sale. So that's cool. He was fair about that, because I got at least 2 pretty good sized ones they're part of what's laying right there in the front. And they were dead, but they were pretty solid all the way through. They weren't pithy or anything on the inside. Anyway, I wish I could show you the other 2 cedars down in the bottom. I guess maybe I'll show them to you when I get down there to cut them. But that's it for tonight. We're gonna clean up, head home, and I guess get some dinner on. But I got a couple different little burn piles here, just stacked up, junk piles. The last thing I'll do before I leave the job is I'll consolidate all those into one, and we'll put them, right in the middle of the clearing as best we can. So that's it for now. We'll make another update when I get back out here. All right, day 2 update. Just show you the new driveway. First thing this morning, I went ahead and broke this down. Those are those big rocks that were sitting on surface. I thought it might be solid rock, but it's not. It's just big chunks of sandstone, and there was actually all clay underneath of them. So it's kind of funny that there's these big chunks, but it's not really a solid layer. I guess, I don't know if you'd call it a rotten outcrop or what, but yeah, whatever. It's not there. So I thought the soil was super rocky, but it's really, it's rocky, but it's not solid rock underneath of here. Anyway, so I just cut this down. You can see where the bank's a little taller there and a little taller, but the client just asked me to cut it down so that once he gets his culvert laid in, he's not crossing his culvert and then up and over a hump. So now it's a nice smooth in. He can pull a pickup in here right now if he wanted to, which you darn sure couldn't do yesterday. Yeah, the ditch is a little steep, but other than that, this is good. But the other big development is we decided to burn. So I wasn't really planning on doing this. It wasn't in the initial price, but I told him as long as I was here working on other stuff, I would go ahead and burn it, as long as he agreed to babysit it whenever I decided I wanted to go home. So we got the pile lit up and going. We've been cleaning up all this stuff from what was in this initial clearing here. And I got all my logs flipped over. I've done a little bit more logging this morning. I took out 2 of the hickories and a few more of the cedars. I've just got a few cedars left to go. But I turned the pile over here, so now I can reach in with the excavator, grab those logs, and turn and come out to the road with them if I need to. When they were stacked in here, I wouldn't have been able to do that because I would have been backed up against the fire. So we got those turned, got the fire lit, and now we're continuing on cleaning. All right, we're back at the start of day 3. I say start, it's only taken me 3 hours to actually get here this morning. But we're pretty much done. You can see where I've come around the back over there. Plucked out a few more big cedars that I bought, but otherwise just underbrushed it enough that he can, walk back in there easy and kind of decide what he wants to do. But you can see the pink ribbon, so that right over there, that's his property corner over there. And then the line runs kind of at a diagonal, running this way back out to the road. Anyway, our fire is pretty well burned everything down. There's some stumps and some greenery that needs to be pushed up into it. So I'm going to get that pushed up first thing. Oh, one other log that I pulled out. I thought it was a rotten cedar, but when I pulled it out, it was solid. I think it's an oak. When it was laying there on the ground, I thought, man, this thing's going to crumble like all the other, several other cedars that were already down. When I went to pick them up, they just fell apart. And that's what it looked like. But it's got a solid trunk on it, so I think it must be an oak of some sort. I can't tell though. There's no bark, no leaf, no nothing. Anyway, I'm going to get this pushed up and get it burning again. And then I'm going to start loading logs out for what it's worth, get as much as I can on my trailer. I couldn't get the gooseneck that I wanted this morning. Oh well, it is what it is. So let's get this pushed up and burning, and then we'll load some logs. All right, well, coming back in on the clearing job here. I don't know what we'll call it. I guess the big cedar tract. It doesn't matter. But you can see we got a nice change here. We got a culvert in. And we actually did this yesterday. I didn't even think to make a video about it. I guess I was in a hurry. But it's kind of funny. I told this guy, because he has no idea how to go about developing his property. And so I said, well, for this case, to put your culvert in, you're supposed to call the county commissioner. That's it. They say it's their job and they must do it. Well, he went and talked to them, and actually they said, no, this is actually a private road, so that's not our problem. Figure it out yourself. So he went and bought a culvert, and we dropped it in. And I just shoveled up. This is mostly topsoil, but it's got some clay in it and some sand in it. So it'll work just fine. I just scooped up, some off the ground back there, and we dumped it in. It does got some big chunk rocks in it, which it looked like, I looked through the pipe after I laid it in there, and it looked like one rock kind of crushed a little bit on the top of the pipe, but not bad. It's got a little dome to it, but that'll pack down and smooth out, I think, just fine. So it'll be okay. Anyway, at least now he can drive onto the property and you can see the tire tracks. He did, or somebody did. Somebody did after I left yesterday. May not have been him, but somebody was happy to drive in here and test out that culvert. As for the clearing and logging, the clearing work is all done. I got the 2 big cedars up out of the bottom yesterday, got them hauled home. So really all that's left to do now, I guess I can show you the carnage, in my opinion. I pulled out everything that I could get easily, and he said that was fine. He said don't worry about trying to polish it. But I pulled out every big limb. Like, there was a couple of big limbs I cut off once I got it up here on the edge, and I pulled them out too. The only thing that really bothers me is this muscadine. That's just this muscadine vine. It must have been grown up in the tree or something. It stretched all the way out where the tree laid. So there's where our big one was laid out, our biggest one, and the other one was laid right across here. But anyway, I got them all pulled out. What you see left over there is actually stuff from different, well, I don't know if you guys can see it, but you see some cedar tops in there. That's actually not from the tree that I cut down. That's a different one that was already existing. Oh, he's got his chain still there. He'll get his chains eventually, I guess. Anyway, all we have left to do now, I'm gonna stir the fire. It's real misty and kind of trying to rain today. So I'm gonna stir the fire one more time just as a courtesy. It's pretty well burned down to nothing. Just a couple stumps still sitting up on top smoldering, which that makes me really happy that it's burned down. But okay, all that's left to do, load out the rest of it here. I've got my hickory. I've got, there's a little hackberry in there. Of course, more cedar, and one oak with a burl. So we'll get loaded on that and see what we can get.